you're going to come near me, you're going to come near me correctly. Anybody that I want to choose to talk to and interact with. As far as my grievances with vocational or educational advocacies, and I've alluded to in different previous videos and forums. Hey, you know what? I didn't do anything wrong to not have a job. And I keep indicating that I need a job. That's all I want. I want to show up with a little bit of a chance. And, it turned into so much, you never needed to know my medications I was on for depression from a prospective employer. You never needed to know that. All you needed to know is that I wasn't with a criminal record in my background check. But in this city, in this community, there were so many new people doing a lot of dance, making a lot of paperwork on people who had no business being in the job themselves, who have personal knowledge of people's personal details that have no business being known. None. And in a sense, I used to say, this is when Eliot Spitzer was Attorney General, before he was scandalous, right? He was the Attorney General and he was upstanding. And this is before our congressman was just the DA in Oneida County, District Attorney. And we had a different mayor. We had a previous mayor. And I thought he was all right, I went, but those were those rocky years. We're talking about that I didn't get to be in the band and I was scandalous and everybody, if I had a good lawyer, man, a lot of these people could have came down. I went to Mr. Koziel, Leon Koziel, but he didn't want to do it because he gave me his money back. I gave him $50, as poor as I was, and he gave it back to me, and he went. He didn't want to. He knew. He understood. I have a position, but with the Oneida County Indian position that he was defending, in the rights of those people and what they're going through, he already had enough political heat on him. But he at least gave me counsel to let me understand that I had a position, because I used to ramble and rant like I do here. Only I used to do it in the appropriate offices, like the Attorney General's office. All right. Everybody I could talk to, I would complain about, directors of these programs, and get my records expunged and everything, because I thought I was getting slipshod treatment. I ended up homeless on a few occasions. Having to go to the mission. Shut up and go to the mission. We're not going to pay you your rent. Catholic Charities wouldn't pay my rent with my son in a hotel room on a Saturday morning, and I had to go to a mission. They told me go to the psycho unit or go to the mission. Go screw yourself. They helped me. They helped me over the years, but, it was shady. Everything's shady. I ended up going to a Catholic school for my son to get him away from the shit that I was going through in the Utica public school system with the little kid under the 4th grade. And there's a lot of people who make a lot of money doing a lot of things that don't have no real. They make money off of other people's problems. I'll put it like that. Now, if you think I'm just a bird singing, and I'm just a rat for the things I've said and done in the past, trying to bring attention to this matter, to my personal life and to the city in general, you ain't seen nothing yet. I've got more things on. I want to let it all go. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's going to do anything. There's statute of limitations. I'm just a crazy person talking. But you know what? I live with it. And I've let people know about it, the proper authorities. And anything happens to me, I live with the knowledge, to include narking on my uncle years ago when he got into heroin and things. Because he had this gang mentality. He was in a gang. Who the hell knows who he was talking to? He was on the street. Who the hell knows what he did? I know he owed people a lot of money. People. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to admit that I'm proud to know this man, as my uncle. I'm his nephew. I'm not ashamed to admit that I come from, a lot of things I people in the Midwest, those WASP people that they wouldn't even give a damn. They would convict me on without a thought, just on the fact that I'm short, let alone I'm short, and I knew that kind of person. I'm dismissed right away. But in physical reality, I've withheld myself from a lot of hell that I could have done otherwise. But because I'm a Christian in some capacity, in deep-rooted belief that I have a reason to live for my son, I just complain. I take a lot of personal pain. I try to do it soberly as much as possible without alcohol. And I really don't care if I don't make it anymore. I haven't, the Rolling Stones ain't going to tour anymore, so what the hell's Coffin Management going to do? I'm thinking to myself, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? I've been overlooked, I know that. I'm 40, I know that. I know one thing too. I know I'm not dead yet. I just be turned in from being a kid to a young adult, right? And I've always felt, a little bit stunted growth on the inside anyway. And I ended up with a body overnight. That's how I feel like it. That I have to say, look, I'm still idealistic inside, but I'm accepting the realities of my limitations. That's what's maturing in me. Because I have a son to kind of take my legs over and run where I can't run. Okay? I gotta watch where he runs. Understand? I have to be more thoughtful and diligent. And I supported President Bush while he was president. I supported defending America after we got bombed. I also support the fact that we can't stop people from wanting to kill us by shooting them and killing them. We have to talk to people, and we have to break bread with people, and we have to offer things to share a commonality with people to stop people from wanting to kill you. All people. And when we, I didn't become a warmonger and eat raw meat because President Bush was my president. But I did certify myself to be a Republican before the things started hitting the fan. Because I thought to myself, after Al Gore didn't contest the election years ago, my last attempt at being faithful to the Democratic position, the hippie sense, right, the idealism, it was the last time I thought that way, because Al Gore was too much of a wimp to compromise his great family name and privilege, which is un-American in my mind. His little royalty check for something that he didn't have the heart to stand for his conviction and his vision of what he believed his worldview being corrected towards the world was at the time. If we all die with an ozone hole, it's because we had an asshole that was bigger than our brain. You know what I mean? So it's bigger than me. That's how I look at it. It's a worldview. It's bigger than Bono. And that's another thing too. I was young. I loved Bono. I loved U2. I loved that belief in something. You buy their record and you felt better. Then I realized they're going to be 60 years old too, and nothing changed, and they're still hoarding all the money. I know they got to propagate. They got to feed a lot of Irish people. They got to feed a lot of people. Everybody goes around the world and takes pockets of money out of the concert scenes, and they go back to their country with it. Their home, their fort. They go back to their base. And I'm against that. I'm against all that. I'm not saying America's better. I'm just saying, I know that's the way it is, and I'll never get a chance to sit on a big stage and be flipped upside down with the with the devil cross going like this. So, you know, I saw the Slipknot video this morning with the Joey guy, you know, with the Michael Myers mask, and everybody's yelling and they're loving him. They're really digging it, man. They're digging it, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me hit part 5.